If you're trying to understand whether a woman is open to sleeping with you, the first thing you need to pay attention to isn't how she dresses or whether she laughs at your jokes. It's whether she starts allowing herself to be emotionally vulnerable around you. Most men miss this because they're watching her body language, but not listening to her emotional language. And here's the truth. Physical intimacy, for most women, is preceded by emotional surrender. If she doesn't feel safe being emotionally exposed, she won't open the door to anything physical, at least not with any depth. Vulnerability is subtle. It's not about her confessing her childhood trauma. It's in the way she begins to share things she doesn't usually tell people. Maybe she opens up about her insecurities. Maybe she talks about past heartbreaks or the things that scare her. Maybe she even says something like, "I don't usually talk about this," and then does anyway. That sentence right there, it's gold. It means she's stepping out of her protective shell, not because she has to, but because you make her feel safe enough to. And that safety is everything. See, a woman might feel attraction for you on a surface level, but she won't act on that desire unless she feels emotionally understood. Women are constantly scanning for emotional cues. Can I trust this man? Will he handle me gently after I open up? Will he make me feel ashamed of what I share or what I want? If her body doesn't answer yes to those questions, her desire will stay locked behind her emotional walls. You won't see it, not because it isn't there, but because you haven't made it safe enough to come out. What's powerful is that this emotional vulnerability isn't about weakness. In fact, when a woman starts letting you into her private world, she's not just showing interest, she's giving you access. She's saying, here's a version of me I don't give to everyone. And if you meet that vulnerability with presence, with grounded attention, and not with pressure or ego, you ignite trust, and trust is what unlocks the kind of intimacy most men never reach. Here's where emotional intelligence becomes everything, because the moment she opens up, how you respond determines everything that follows. If you minimize her emotions, change the subject, or act awkward, she'll close up again. But if you hold that space with maturity, if you validate without fixing, and listen without interrupting, you're telling her, it's safe to go further with me. And once a woman feels safe, her body and emotions sync. Her desire moves from the background to the front. Suddenly, what was a casual vibe turns electric, not because you performed, but because you held space for her to be real. So pay attention. When she starts showing you her inner world, don't just see it as emotional, see it as intimate. Because a woman won't undress her body until she first feels safe undressing her soul. And the man who understands that, he's not just attractive, he becomes unforgettable. When a woman's flirting moves beyond the playful and starts becoming personal, it's never random. It's a signal, subtle, but deliberate. And if you're not paying attention to the emotional undercurrent behind her words and body language, you'll miss what she's actually telling you. Flirting, for women, isn't always about what's said. It's about what's risked. And when she begins risking more personal energy, when she starts crossing that invisible line from casual attention to intentional connection, it's a strong indication that her interest is deepening into desire. First, she may have laughed at your jokes or given you the usual social cues, smiling, eye contact, a light touch here and there, but when her flirting shifts from general to specific, that's when things start to get interesting. Suddenly, her compliments aren't just about how you look, but how you make her feel. She's not just saying, you're funny, she's saying, I feel different when I talk to you. That difference matters. This is where emotional and psychological awareness separates average men from the ones who are truly connected. Because when a woman starts offering you personal compliments about your energy, your presence, the way you carry yourself, it's her way of leaning in. She's opening the door just slightly wider, checking if you're emotionally intelligent enough to recognize what she's really saying. I feel something here and I want to explore it further. And her body will always follow suit. Watch for the way she positions herself. Is she leaning in closer when you speak? Is her body language softening? Are her touches lasting a little longer, becoming more intentional? Women often communicate readiness, not through obvious invitations, but through small, repeated choices. She might not say, I want you, but she's showing it through tone, timing, and tension. When her flirting gets personal, it's no longer just about fun. It's about connection. She's no longer engaging just to pass time. She's testing emotional intimacy. She's seeing if you can meet her in the space between curiosity and chemistry. That's where attraction grows, not just through shared jokes, but through shared vibe, a kind of energetic dialogue that words alone can't capture. And here's what separates the man who gets remembered from the man who gets ignored. He doesn't rush. He doesn't take these signs as a green light to push. He receives them with grounded confidence. He deepens the conversation instead of skipping ahead. He makes her feel safe in the moment she's creating, which encourages her to open up even more. Because when a woman flirts with intent, she's not just testing if you're fun. She's testing if you're aware. If you can read the signals, match the rhythm, and most importantly, respect the emotional space she's giving you, then physical intimacy becomes a natural progression. She doesn't need to be convinced. She simply chooses what already feels right. So the next time her words go deeper, her laughter lasts longer, or her gaze lingers just a moment more, don't just react, recognize. Because she's not flirting with the world anymore. She's flirting with you. And the man who sees that, honors it, and builds on it without pressure, that's the man she wants to go further with. That's the man who's truly built different. One of the most telling signs that a woman is open to something deeper, emotionally, physically, or both, is how she positions herself around you. And I don't just mean metaphorically, I mean literally. Her physical proximity to you becomes a language of its own. Because whether consciously or subconsciously, the body always speaks desire before the words ever do. When a woman consistently finds reasons to be near you, closer than necessary, brushing past you, choosing to stand shoulder to shoulder instead of across the room, that's not just coincidence. That's comfort. That's interest. That's her testing intimacy without making it verbal. She's saying, let's see how it feels to be close to you without actually saying it out loud. And how you respond in those moments, how you handle that energy, is what determines whether she leans in or pulls back. Now here's what's crucial to understand. Physical closeness is not always about touch. Sometimes it's about space. A woman will shrink the distance between you when she wants to feel your presence more intensely. It's a form of unspoken consent, not for anything physical yet, but for emotional access. She's saying, I'm comfortable here. I want to know what this closeness feels like. And if she stays there, if she lingers, it means that closeness is welcome. Think about it. In social settings, we naturally maintain physical boundaries with people we aren't drawn to. We lean away, cross our arms, keep distance. So when she starts doing the opposite, turning her body toward you, letting her knee brush yours, or positioning herself so your energy collides, that's not by accident. It's intentional because women rarely offer physical closeness to someone they're unsure about. They offer it to someone they want more from. The key, though, is not to react with assumption, it's to respond with awareness. A man who's built different doesn't rush to take that closeness as permission. He receives it. He matches the energy with presence and patience. He knows that just because the door is opening doesn't mean it's time to walk through it. It means it's time to build tension, to let her feel that she's making the choice, not responding to pressure. And if you create that space, well, if you make her feel safe, seen, and unjudged, in the moments she moves closer, her desire begins to rise on its own. Now, she's not just physically near you, she's emotionally available to deepen the connection. The touch may not happen immediately, but the decision has already begun to form, because in her mind, her body has already started saying yes. So don't miss it. Don't overlook the silent ways women express interest. Physical proximity, especially when consistent and paired with emotional openness, is her way of closing the gap on purpose. It's not just attraction, it's invitation. And the man who recognizes that without rushing, who allows the moment to unfold instead of forcing it, that man doesn't need to chase anything. He simply holds his ground and lets her come closer. Because sometimes her body says everything her words haven't caught up to yet. And if you're wise enough to listen to that silent language, you'll know exactly when she's ready for more. There's a moment in every deepening connection where the conversation shifts, where it moves beyond surface-level banter and starts flirting with something more raw, more real, more vulnerable. If you're paying attention, you'll notice that moment when a woman steers the dialogue towards sensual or intimate topics. It might be subtle. She may ask about your past relationships, your views on physical chemistry, or what you find most attractive in a partner. But don't let the softness of her tone fool you. These are tests, not just casual curiosities. When a woman begins to explore these topics with you, she's not doing it for fun. She's gauging your emotional intelligence, your maturity, your readiness to hold space for what could be a more intimate experience. And if she feels like you can handle that conversation with grounded confidence, not awkwardness, not arrogance, then she begins to feel something she rarely experiences: emotional safety wrapped in desire. Because here's the truth. Most women want to express their sensual side. They want to talk about what turns them on, what excites them, what they crave. But they don't feel safe doing it with most men. Why? Because many men either overreact, getting too eager, too explicit, too fast, or they shy away from it altogether, making her feel judged for even bringing it up. But when she finally finds a man who can hold that conversation without flinching, without fumbling, without losing himself in his own excitement, she leans in. Emotionally first, physically soon after. These shifts in conversation are her way of saying, I want to explore this dynamic with you, but I need to know who you are when things get real. If you respond with clarity, curiosity, and calm masculinity, she begins to trust the moment. And when a woman trusts the moment, she'll give herself to it more freely. You don't have to turn the conversation sexual immediately. In fact, the key is to not push. It's to show her that you're capable of going there without needing to stay there. That you can handle intimacy without reducing her to it. That you're comfortable discussing attraction without trying to cash in on it. That balance is rare and incredibly powerful. What often follows these moments is a deep emotional shift. Once she feels she can express desire without shame, her attraction deepens. Not because you said the right words, but because your energy told her you're safe here. You're allowed to feel this. And when desire is mixed with safety, it becomes irresistible. So next time she brings up anything even slightly intimate, lean into it, but not with desperation, with presence, with depth. Let her see that you're not just capable of physical connection, but emotional grounding. Because when you do that, she'll stop wondering whether she should open up further and start wondering how far she wants to take it. Remember, it's not just what she says, it's why she says it to you. And when you prove that you can handle the version of her that most men never get to see, you don't just gain her interest, you earn her trust. And with that trust, she'll go exactly where you both want to go. There's a moment, sometimes subtle, sometimes electric, when a woman mirrors your confidence without resistance. And when that happens, everything changes. Because she's not just responding to your presence, she's matching it. That mirroring is one of the clearest signs that her attraction has moved from passive interest to active desire. And the men who are emotionally intelligent, the ones who are built different, they know exactly how to spot it and respond without breaking the energy. Confidence, when it's healthy and grounded, doesn't dominate, it invites. It creates a space where a woman doesn't feel cornered or impressed, but seen. And when a woman feels seen by a man who owns himself, who expresses his desire clearly yet calmly, she often responds by stepping into her own feminine power. It's subtle but undeniable. Her voice might soften, her posture might open, or her teasing might suddenly have a little more emotional charge behind it. That's not just flirting, that's alignment. She's not doing it to please you. She's doing it because your energy has given her permission to show up fully. You've shown her that your confidence isn't performative. It isn't there to mask insecurity or manipulate a moment. It's authentic. And because she senses that, she doesn't need to be guarded. She can bring more of herself into the moment because she knows you won't shrink, flinch, or fumble. That's rare. That's what makes you magnetic without having to try. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't mean she's giving you blanket permission to escalate. What she's doing is opening a shared frequency. She's saying, I feel this energy too, and I'm not pulling away from it. That, right there, is one of the strongest nonverbal signs that she wants to explore more, not later. Now. And it's not because you talked her into anything. It's because the dynamic feels right to her body, not just her mind. When a woman mirrors your confidence, what she's really showing you is that your energy is trustworthy. It's steady enough to lean into. And this is what separates boys from men. A boy sees that mirroring and rushes. He assumes, he pushes, and often he ruins the moment. But a man? A man matches her energy with presence. He doesn't get ahead of her. He walks with her, pace for pace. That's how you build tension that lasts. That's how you create a space where she starts wondering, how far could this go? And here's what's fascinating. When a woman matches your confidence, it's often her way of giving emotional consent. It's not loud, it's not always obvious, but it's incredibly powerful. It means she's not just letting herself feel something. She's giving herself permission to act on it. And when that happens, everything is possible. So don't ignore that mirroring. Recognize it, respect it. Respond to it with the same composed presence that brought it out in the first place. Because when a woman mirrors your confidence, she's not just reacting, she's inviting. And if you know how to receive that invitation with emotional maturity and masculine grace, you don't need to force the moment. You become the moment. And that's the kind of man she'll say yes to without hesitation. One of the most overlooked yet telling signs that a woman wants to sleep with you is this. She starts making time for you in ways that don't make logical sense. She'll stretch her schedule, shift her priorities, and extend conversations longer than necessary. And while most people might dismiss this as simple friendliness or politeness, a man who's tuned in understands what's really happening. She's investing in the possibility of intimacy, even if she hasn't said it outright. You see, time is emotional currency. People don't spend it where they don't feel a return. So when a woman chooses to stay longer after an event, when she finds excuses to stay on the call, when she says just 5 more minutes and it becomes an hour, that's not random. That's her way of extending the emotional runway. She's trying to see where this energy could go. She's choosing you in real time. And here's where it gets psychological. Women are incredibly intuitive with their energy. They can feel when something has potential, emotional, sexual, or both. So when she makes time that disrupts her usual flow, it's not because she's bored or desperate. It's because you've created a moment that feels worth exploring. Her body is still in the room because her mind and emotions haven't let go of the connection yet. It's in these moments that she's often looking for signs that you won't waste the opportunity. Not signs that you'll make a move right away, but that you understand the gravity of the moment. That you can lead, not with pressure, but with awareness. If she senses that you know how to handle the energy between you two with respect and confidence, her attraction will deepen. She's not looking to be convinced. She is looking to be aligned. This is where most men misstep. They either rush in too aggressively, assuming that more time equals an open invitation, or they stay passive, failing to recognize the opportunity unfolding right in front of them. But a man who's built different reads the moment, feels the shift, and chooses presence over performance.